so continuing on with some more examples then. This first one is, what is the three-figure bearing? If you see the word 3, write the number 3, of west-northwest. So west-northwest is a compass bearing. So if we draw up a compass rose and then mark in northwest, which is halfway between north and west, then we want west-northwest. We want to be halfway between west and northwest. So we'll mark that in. There it is. Okay, now if we look at our angles that we have here, we know that this right angle between north and west is split into halves when we create the northwest bearing. So we're going to make a 45-degree angle here. That would be half of 90. And then here, between west and northwest, because it's splitting west and northwest in half, this 45-degree angle here will be split into half as well. So these two angles here are 22.5 degrees, because that's half of 45. So if you added all those up, that would give you the 90 degrees that we have there between west and north. Okay, now we're trying to find the compass bearing of this one, the three-figure bearing, sorry. So we're going from north, clockwise till we hit the west-northwest line, which takes us to there. So how many degrees have we gone through to get there? Well, from here, from north all the way around to west, is 270 degrees. Then we're continuing on the same direction, so we're adding that extra 22.5 degrees there. So if we add those up, we have 292.5 degrees, but they want a three-figure bearing, so we're going to round to the nearest whole number, which is 293 degrees when we round it off. And that's your bearing. That's your three-digit or three-figure bearing. Okay, now looking at the next one. We're sketching on a compass rose. Now, I've already drawn up the compass rose. Now let's look at what it says. We're looking at putting P on there, and it has a bearing of 132 degrees from T. Remember, I told you to look at whatever's written after the word from is in the middle of the compass. So we're going to put T into the middle of our compass rose, and here it is. Okay, now we're going to do our bearing. So we're starting at north, going clockwise through 132 degrees. So we go past the 90, and we'll be down in here somewhere. So that angle that we just marked is 132 degrees. And the other letter that they want you to do is P. That's on the other end of the line here. So that's all you have to do for your diagram. All right, now looking at the next one, up the top here, it's 260 degrees from M. So that means M is going to be in the middle of our compass. So we'll put an M there. Okay, now we're going to mark in our 260 degrees. So start at north, go clockwise through 260, past the 180, and it won't be as far as the 270, so we're in here. So that's your angle 260 degrees. And on the other end here is our P, our other letter. Okay, let's look at the next question, number 7. If the bearing of P from A is 60 degrees. Now I've started to draw this in. Here's A's got to be in the middle of your compass, so let's put it there. And it's P, the other letter, so we'll put that on the other end after we do our 60 degrees, going from north clockwise till we hit that line. Now, the question is, what is the bearing of A from P? Now, if it's from P, they want P in the middle of the compass. And it's not in the middle of the compass at the moment. So I'm going to draw a new compass rose where P is in the middle. So I'm just going to use a different coloured pen so we don't get too confused. So I'm just going to draw a little compass up, north, south, east and west, where P is in the middle of that compass. Now, we're going to go from north clockwise till we hit the line we just were looking at. And we want to know what that is. That will be the answer to our question. So we're going through 180 plus this bit. And if you think about it, this little bit here and this bit, if you think about it, they look like that. They are alternate angles, okay? Because both of these are north-south lines. So they're both going to be parallel to each other. So you've got alternate angles that are equal there. So that means this little angle in here will also be 60 degrees because of alternate angles being equal in parallel lines. I won't write the whole thing out, you know what it is. All right, so our bearing itself, what are we doing to work this out? This whole thing here, we've got 180 plus that bit which we just discovered was 60, and your answer is 240 degrees. Okay, let's look at the next one. We want to know the angle size between east and northwest. Well, we know where east is on the compass rose, it's out here. Northwest, halfway between north and west. And they just want to know the angle between those, between east and northwest. Okay, so we know that we have a right angle in here. And we know that northwest is halfway between north and west. So that splits the 90 degrees into two equal bits. So we know that that's 45 degrees. So our angle between the two will be 90 plus 45. 135 degrees. Okay, next question. So the compass bearing, remember they're all the ones with northwest, southeast, west, northwest, all of that. The compass bearing of H from M, so M is in the middle of your compass. Let's put it there. Is west-northwest. Now I've already put this in, right? So northwest is halfway between north and west. West-northwest is halfway between west and northwest. So that splits, that 45 splits into 22.5 degrees each. We've seen that before. Okay, now they want the compass bearing of M. Now M's on the end of this line here, so sorry, H is the other letter, so we'll put that there. So this was H from M, where M's in the middle of the compass, and this is H on the other end of this west-northwest. We're finding the compass bearing of M from H. So this time, H is in the middle of the compass. Now, is it in the middle of the compass now? Let's have a look. No, it's not. It's over there. I'm going to draw a new compass with my blue pen this time, where H is in the middle. So let's draw in our compass, where H is in the middle. That's north, south, west, and that's east over there. Now, they want to know, if H is in the middle, what's the compass bearing of M? Okay, so they want to know what that is. So we're looking at this line here. So what compass bearing is it? They don't want the 3-digit angle bearing, they want the compass bearing. Okay, so we are, look at your blue one, we're between south and east, right? But we're only, sorry, I'll just have a look at this again, where are we? Right, that bit is, they're these angles here, just so you can see. I've had to draw it a bit big to see where we are. Might have to try and redraw that in a minute. We'll see how we're going. Okay, so that's that bit there, but I'll just make it a bit smaller, I think, so we can see. Let's move this one. Okay, so that little angle there is 22.5 degrees. I'll just make it a bit smaller so I can see the rest of what's going on. All right, so we're looking at this one here. Now, if you look at the rest of this diagram, we know we have a right angle in here, and that's 22.5 degrees, okay? So, if you look at it, this one up here, that little bit there, if you take off, you've got 180 degrees in this little triangle here, so 180 minus 90 is 90. These two have to share 90 degrees. So if we do 90 degrees minus 22.5 degrees, we end up with 67.5 degrees up in that spot there. And that means that this little bit up here, this tiny piece here, take it off there, 90 minus 67.5 degrees will get you back to 22.5 degrees. Now, you can see what happens with these diagrams. They get very congested. So I'm just going to redraw, just over here, the bit we're looking at. All right, so just with the blue, staying with the blue that I had over there, this is what we've got happening so far. That is H in the middle, and then we have this line here that we're concerned about, and we know that that bit there is 22.5 degrees. Okay, so we want to know what direction that is. So if you think about it, 22.5 is half of 45, right? So if I draw in that, halfway between south and east is southeast, right? Now, that bit is again halfway between east and southeast, so that direction right here is east, south, east. That's what we're after. That is the compass bearing. So when you're drawing your diagrams, it is important to have them big. I thought I started off with this big, but most of my work all ended up in this little corner. You can see how congested it is. So just do what I've done here, redraw what you need, just to make things a bit clearer as you're going. Okay, now in number 10, we have a plane, flies on a bearing of 280 degrees for 150 kilometres, and then another 250 kilometres on a bearing of 80 degrees. Draw the diagram. Okay, so what we're going to do is start in the middle, like all trips do, and we're going to draw that first bearing in. Point the plane in the right direction. So 280 degrees. We go around 270 and a bit further. So the plane flies off in that direction, that's 280. And it flies that direction for 150 kilometres. Then after that, it turns on a bearing of 80 degrees. Now, your plane is now here. So you have to draw a new compass up. North, south, east, west. And now we're going to turn the plane on a bearing of 80 degrees. So we go from north, clockwise through 80 degrees. I'll just do it with the black pen. And we won't go to east, it won't go that far. So this is 80 degrees in here. And we travel for 250 kilometres this time. And that's probably going to take us way over the other side because that's a bigger distance than this. So I haven't really left enough room to draw mine properly, but it'll go all the way over there. And that's the third side of the triangle which you can draw in. So that's all you need to do on this. The main thing is do your first bearing and put the distance on. Draw up a new compass where the plane is now. Do that bearing and put the distance on. Okay, and just one other little tip. If you do notice that there's something's a bigger length, make it look bigger than the other one. Okay, in number 11, we're looking at a diagram here. We're finding the bearing of Y from Z. So Z's in the middle of the compass. So let's look at Z. We'll make sure that's in the middle, and we're going to Y, which is here. So we just want to give that bearing as our answer. So we've gone through 180 plus the 50 on, and you end up with 230 degrees. Okay, let's look at the next one. It's Y from X. X has to be in the middle of the compass. We're looking at Y, which is down here. Now if we draw the rest of this compass in here, just so we can see what we're doing, we're going from north clockwise till we hit the line that goes to Y. What bearing have we gone through? 90 plus 70, which is 160 degrees. Okay, and the next one is Z from Y. So Y has to be in the middle of the compass. Do this with the black pen. Y has to be in the middle, and we're going to Z, which is that one. So we just want that bearing there. Now if you look, we've got alternate angles here. So with alternate angles, that's just going to be 50 degrees. And don't forget, with these 3-digit angles, you do need that extra 0 in the front there. So look at this one, just going through it again, that and that, alternate angles are equal in parallel lines, remember, and here's your 2 parallel lines, your 2 north-south lines. Okay, now it's really important you do the homework for this to practice the diagrams. The work will be getting harder in the next lesson.